So my name is Geoff Alcock. I'm the Managing Director of MSS Security. Before I joined MSS Security, it was just after the acquisition by SIS in 2008. I was asked by a recruiter whether I'd be interested in working for an Indian security company. And at that time, given my background, I hadn't worked in security, and I was very nervous about working for an Indian security company because I imagined everything would be offshored, and security in my mind back in those days was a very different view on what it is today. My very first impressions of the organisation were positive. We had a lot to do to change the business, the MSS business. It was struggling at that time. There was a whole rebuilding of the management team, which was done in support of SIS and with SIS. Yeah, so my background, I'm actually an electrician by trade, working in the coal mines, and worked through logistics businesses in different roles. What first surprised me about the business was the various market segments and clients that relied on security to do what they had to do. So our width and breadth of the product that we offer and the service that we offer to a very wide and varied market segments was a great surprise and very impressive. There are so many to choose from. If I think back to when I first took over in 2018 as a managing director, not long after that, the COVID pandemic hit, and quite frankly, we didn't know if we were going to have a business. But the way our business responded through working from home, setting all that up through our IT guys, working with our clients to make sure that our staff were protected and had ongoing employment, and then servicing our clients right through that period was both very challenging but highly rewarding. The way our team come together with support from SIS, it was probably the most rewarding. More recently, our recent win with the Department of Defence of Australia, where we were awarded the largest security contractor ever awarded in Australia, has been very rewarding as well. So within the COVID pandemic, when that first came to be, we literally didn't know if we were going to have a business. The country was going into full lockdown, shutdown. We have a very large aviation business, which basically ceased overnight. Our first priority was to protect the jobs of those people, so being able to redeploy those staff to other contracts. We made a decision at that point in time that we would not seek to take any more work on. We wanted to protect our own clients and make sure that we looked after all of those needs. The way my team responded to that was first class, and some examples of that. We were able to do some work for governments in South Australia and Western Australia on quarantine hotel programs, protecting Australians returning to Australia from overseas in quarantine programs. We did that not effortlessly, but we did that seamlessly. We did that with great compliance, working hand in glove with our clients. Our staff at then was around about 6,000 people at that time. Each of those staff members turned up day in, day out, very, very keen to serve our clients. And those sort of stories, I still hear about those today. That's very rewarding. Yeah, so I joined about 3 months after the actual acquisition. At that time, the business was struggling. We were losing clients, we were losing money, and we were struggling to get staff. It was a business that was not loved by its former owners. When SIS took over, and I met with Raj and R.K. and Mike McKinnon, my predecessor as managing director, and they explained to me what their vision was for the business, how they went about doing the business in terms of people first, making sure that you look after your staff and they will look after your clients. And the type of clients we had and sought to have was the most attractive part of the business. That's why I joined. How it's evolved since then, we've become much bigger, much larger. We now employ around about 8,000 staff and growing. Our client base is getting much greater in both in size and the type of markets we are operating in. The evolution of that has come around through three fundamental areas. One, we had a set of values that we live by, and that puts integrity and trust at the forefront of everything we do, both trust and integrity towards our staff and towards our clients. We have to be trusted. Two, embracing our staff and making sure we reward them where we can, making sure we recognise those staff that go above and beyond, and making sure that our staff feel the pleasure that we feel when our clients are satisfied. And three, and this is an area that we're not satisfied with at the moment, but we're certainly heading in the right direction, is embracing innovation and technology. The world is changing. Whilst we are predominantly and always will be a manpower business, people providing people, using technology and embracing technology to make us better at what we do, make us more efficient, giving our clients better outcomes, is the third thing, which is evolving more quickly than ever. At the very beginning, as I said, we were very much in a rebuilding mode in MSS. It was branded Chubb, and by way of example of the evolution and how far we've come, I think I spent the first 5 years of my career with MSS, when I was explaining MSS to clients and prospective clients, and even people that, I spoke about what I did for a living, I always had to refer back to Chubb, which was a big brand then. I said, we're MSS, we used to be called Chubb. And you can see the penny drop in people's heads. They go, okay, Chubb. I can tell you right now, I no longer have to reference Chubb. I say, I work for MSS. Oh, MSS, I know MSS. And I say, we're part of SIS in India. And particularly if those people have got any knowledge of India at all, that penny drops for them straight away. They go, oh, wow, MSS. Oh, wow, SIS. So that's been, I think, very telling for me in how much our business has grown, but also grown in stature, not just size, where the recognition of being a quality business providing quality service has certainly grown over that time. So, and certainly you're right, the security industry is evolving quite quickly. The use of technology, be it AI or better camera systems or better data gathering and data assessment through AI and all those types of things, is moving very quickly. What sets up both SIS and MSS, I think, goes back to its core values around being trusted, looking after its people, being honest with our clients, wanting to do well by our clients, wanting to serve our clients to the best capability that we can, is really the fundamental of the business, and that will never change. Yeah. So during COVID, right at the time when vaccines were being produced, right at the very beginning of that, as I said, we had 6,000 odd staff at that point in time. Everybody in Australia, such as I believe they would be everywhere across the world, were very dubious about vaccinations, how effective they would be, what were the side effects, all that type of stuff. We made a decision in Australia, and very much supported by SIS, to incentivise our staff to get vaccinated against the COVID disease. So we went around and we very quickly put this in place, where we would encourage our staff and then incentivise our staff through monetary reward to get themselves vaccinated. We were one of the very first companies in Australia to do that, and it worked to great success. And it cost an awful lot of money at the time, but it was money we thought was very well spent. One, to protect our staff. Two, to ensure that they were able to service our clients. And I think it certainly set us apart against our competitors, and certainly against many other companies in Australia that weren't going down that path. The other thing on COVID as well is that we were absolutely strident in our compliance to government regulations and government advice. We didn't go off on a tangent. We stuck to exactly what the game plan was, and it delivered great results for the business and for our people. The biggest challenge by far for us in Australia is the shortage and the cost of labour. So looking and attracting and retaining good staff that want to be want to service our clients, have that great customer service ethos that we need, is a great challenge in Australia, as I'm sure it is across the globe. So that's our number one challenge right now, and that remains the case. So we've got many programs in place to address that, through training our own staff, incentivising staff, first and foremost, having great clients having great clients for our staff to work with, is probably the key to that. That challenge, the shortage of labour, also presents an opportunity, as I said before. The use of technology to support and supplement and complement what we do from a manpower perspective is the opportunity that lay right in front of us right now, and that's what we seek to do. So I've had the pleasure of meeting R.K. on a couple of occasions. He's a very personal man. You can tell that his vision for the business, I'm sure what he thought it might be, what it is today, has gone well beyond what his wildest dreams could have been at that time. He's held true to his vision, and that is around making sure that he looks after his people, and he's doing it for the people. And that resonates in our world just as it does here in India as well. And there's a quote that I will read. This quote is painted on a wall of our National Operations Centre back in Australia, which looks after all of our operations. And that quote is, and it is from R.K., "A business succeeds not because it is long established or big. It succeeds because of the people who live it, dream it, and strive to build a grand future for it." Now that quote from R.K. is painted on the wall in our office. It's something that all of our staff in our Sydney office, head office, walk past every day. And it resonates with our team. It resonates across our entire business. His vision for the business, his stewardship of the SIS business here in Australia, in India, I should say, the gamble that he took to acquire MSS back in 2008 is an absolute credit to him. And I'm delighted to have played a very small part in that. Yeah, I do. Actually, I'll talk about, so I'm fortunate enough to attend the annual SIS conference when it's held in India here, and we bring a number of our management team and their partners over here to experience a little bit of India and the conference. When R.K. speaks, when he gets up there, you can see, and there's 600, 700, 1,000 people in that room, you can see the adoration of R.K. and the respect in which he is held. And that, every year that I've seen that, and I've seen that for the last 14 or 15 years, always strikes me as there's a leader, not just the owner of the business, but there's a leader where his people respect him through his actions, not just his words. Yes, and referring back to that quote from R.K., I guess my first thought is gratefulness. Gratefulness to being a part of it, and absolute gratefulness to our staff and our many thousands of staff in Australia and hundreds of thousands of staff in India, who all do their bit on every day of the week, at all hours of the day, to make that vision come true and deliver what SIS and MSS what it is today. When the acquisition first took place, and not long after that, and we had Rituraj used to come out, and Mr. Uday Singh, Devesh Desai, the CFO, and others had come out to Australia. The support we received, the guidance we received, the inspiration to grow and improve the business was there day one, and it's been there forever since. They allow us to run our own race in Australia. They appreciate the difference of the Australian business versus the Indian business, and they are very different in lots of ways. So they appreciate and they allow us to get on with providing or running the business. But there is constant support there. And right now I'm fortunate to receive the support of many people from within SIS who we work with, provide or seek advice from, and help drive us. One of the big things that I see that SIS is certainly driven me and the MSS business is to be innovative and be impatient. Don't wait for things to happen. In Australia, and I was reminded of this not so long ago, that the Australian culture of, if it isn't broken, don't fix it, which means we sit and do nothing for long periods of time because we don't think it's broken. the Indian way of never being satisfied, driving ahead, trying things, such as technology, such as a different way of thinking, a different approach to clients, has been, I think, a key benefit to our business, to my business, and certainly what's driven us to be able to go well beyond our nearest competitor in Australia. For example, IOPS, a product that is used widely here in India in the SIS business. It was delayed because of COVID. We are now adopting that right across the MSS business. So that's a SIS developed product that makes a great deal of difference for our clients, makes us a better provider, allows us to have greater transparency in around compliance and activities. We are now using that across our business. SIS developed that. We are now using that in Australia. On the reverse side, some of the things we're doing in Australia feed back into the SIS business as well. So us having that really strong connection, really strong partnership, the ability to come here to meet and speak with my colleagues, for those colleagues to come out to Australia and see how we do things, that connection, that partnership has been both very rewarding and very beneficial for my business, and hopefully beneficial for the SIS business as well. As I said, my background as an electrician by nature and through my parents, I'm a problem solver. I want to make people happy, and I like to solve problems. My background as an electrician and working my way up through the ranks on that side allows me to see things from the ground level as well, so that I can go out and speak to our security officers and I can talk to them one-on-one. I understand their world. I understand how they think. That's my background as well. But ultimately, my curiosity, my interest in things, and as I said before, our client base is wide and varied, and we've got many different clients, not just in guarding, but in paramedics and emergency response, nursing. We are growing our business. All of our clients, I'm genuinely interested in what makes their business tick. We have a very interesting client base. And so I spend a lot of time on the road speaking to our clients about what's important for their business because I'm genuinely interested in it. We take that back and then we fold that back into our product offering as well. And my management team are of the same mind. So the ability to see things from every angle, the natural curiosity that I have, and I think the inbuilt desire to please our customers and make sure they are happy, along with our stakeholders and our shareholders, of course, is a natural position for me. And I like to have positive influence over things. I like to look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, I've done a good thing today. I've changed something. I've made something better. Doesn't always happen, of course. Yeah. I'm going to pay credit to Mike McKinnon, who was the managing director, the first managing director of MSS Security after the acquisition. I first met Mike in a hotel in Sydney, in the CBD of Sydney, before I joined. That's where he explained to me what the business was about and what SIS were trying to achieve with the business. It turns out that Mike and I, families both had dairy farms in a very small town in Australia. So there was a natural connection with Mike and I, and I felt an affinity for him. His moral compass is superb. He told me exactly the way he does business, exactly the way the Indians, the SIS business support MSS to do. So when Mike explained to me what the SIS business was seeking to achieve through the acquisition of MSS and how they were going to achieve it, I was hooked then. I wanted to be part of that. Mike's moral compass is second to none. He had a very firm view on the way to do things, and that is the right way, no matter the cost, no matter the outcome of that. If it is the right way to do it, we will do it. And that set my moral compass in my MSS journey. I already had that belief anyway. But Mike's view of the world was there's a right way to do it, and that is the only way we'll do it. From then on, we have, as a business, stuck to that path. And it's paid us great rewards to do that. As I said way early on, our business is built on trust, and that trust is built on actions that we take. We say what we do. We do what we say we're going to do, and if we do make an error, and we do make errors, we own those errors, and then we work very hard to fix those errors. So from a leadership perspective, maintaining that singular course of the right way to do it. Our integrity is at the forefront of everything we do, embracing our people and making sure that our clients are informed and satisfied to the best of our ability is exactly the principles I take to work every day, and it's what we do every day. So the first thing we set about doing was rebuilding and reinvigorating our management team. The management team were made up of good people, very good people, but as I said before, in an unloved business. So setting that up, making sure that the management team understood what we were trying to achieve and making sure that they were on board with that was the first step. The second step was engaging with our staff, because our staff in the field felt that lack of love as well, that lack of support as well. And our clients felt that we were, as I said, we were losing clients rapidly at that time and losing money. So those three things happened pretty much in what's the word I'm thinking of? Pretty much in parallel. Those three things happened in parallel, and it took us a good 2 or 3 years to get that to a point where we could start to see that we were not losing clients, that our staff were staying with us, we were supporting our staff, and from there we grew. And that growth comes slowly in certain areas and more quickly in other areas. And I remember I was running the New South Wales business, which is a state in Australia. We won a contract to the value of $500,000. And I thought we've won the lotto, we've won the lottery, this is fantastic. And now we're winning contracts worth $150 million. So I still remember that $500,000 contract win and how I felt about that, because that was a client willing to back us, willing to support us and say, okay, your story is good, your offering is good, and go. So I still remember that, and I'll never forget how that made me feel and how that made our team feel. That was a $500,000 contract, and we certainly don't forget those things when they occur. And we're in the midst of that right now. Again, delayed by COVID. Our centre of our world is our people, and the ability to roster people. Roster people efficiently so that we know what we're doing, how we're servicing our clients, which enables us to invoice our clients and pay our staff. And they're fundamental parts of the business. We had a proprietary system that was built for the business, by the business, that predates the acquisition, a product called Roll Call. It was at end of life, and so we had to replace it. And at the same time, being a people business, we had to have a HR system, a people system, which looked after all the onboarding, the recruitment, the training of our staff, managing all of our staff. So in the last 3 years, we've set about replacing both of those, building our HR system and replacing our rostering system. It's akin to having a heart-lung transplant while you're still walking down the street. We're about 75% of the way through that journey right now. That's a considerable investment, both in terms of funds, but a considerable investment in time of my staff to be able to put those two things in play whilst we're still ongoing. They're back-of-house systems, and we've also got our ERP system, which is now across the SIS business. Sitting beside all that, embracing technology and systems to make our product better, such as IOPS, such as drones, our aviation screening products, all those type of things which we're pushing the boundaries on right now, will change our world over time and will make us a much, much better organisation than we were. That said, we're not a bad organisation. We're a great organisation. We just want to be the very, very best. Yeah, so right now we're in the middle of setting our Vision 2030 aspirations, as is the entire SIS business. Those aspirations, I'm not sure if I can talk about them, but I'll talk about them quickly. So we want to be the dominant player in security in Australia. We are the leader in Australia, but we want to dominate in every market segment. We don't want to be number 3 in any market segment. We want to be number 1 across the board. And we are well on our way to do that. And that, doing what we do today, recruiting and keeping good people, having a great solution mindset, using technology to our advantage, to our clients' advantage, gets us on that way, and we're certainly well down that path. We are stretching our wings into paramedics and nursing, into the healthcare sectors, in the aged care sectors. It's an untapped market in Australia. It's a very growing market in Australia. We want to be part of that. It's very much aligned to our core competencies and our core beliefs. So that part of our Vision 2030 is to reach into those markets and be leaders in those markets as well. The Chubb business, as it was prior to the acquisition, was owned by UTC for many, many years. So there was certainty and people knew what they were about at that point in time, despite being unloved. A new owner, an Indian owner making its first foray into the international markets in Australia, provided great unrest, to be fair to the staff, and this is me talking to staff post that time. So there was great uncertainty around that. I do know, and it predates me, I do know that the gentleman mentioned before, Rituraj and Uday and Devesh and others spent a lot of time in Australia talking to our staff as well as our Australian management team, and assuring them of what the intentions of the business are, that they're committed to the business and all that sort of stuff. So there's an awful lot of effort gone into that to shore up the staff and our clients, and I met with many of our clients in those early days. And I have to say that many of those clients are still with us today, and they still remember those conversations, as do our staff. And they do talk fondly about those early days and the early interactions with Uday and Rituraj and co. Yeah, look, it is. And you know, we, I think it was in February last year, we had a group of about 15 SIS managers come out to Australia in an exchange program. And we spent a lot of time with those guys, and they visited a number of our cities and a number of our clients. The similarities of mindset, the similarities of commitment were clearly evident between my management group and the managers here from SIS. The differences were that Australians are generally fairly laid back, and as I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You get the drive in India to adapt, to be better, have an urgency of action is is now transposing into my business as well, that we are not satisfied with where we're at. We're always seeking to be better, seeking to do new things, try things. Some of those things will fail, so be it, but let's continue to try and push. That mindset comes directly from SIS. I'll quickly talk about my journey. If someone had said to me 17 years ago, and 17 years seems like a long time, but it goes by in a heartbeat. If they said to me I'd be sitting in a hotel room in Delhi talking to a film crew about the 50th anniversary of SIS and the role that MSS, the business that I now run, play in that, I would have thought you were dreaming. There's no way I envisaged where I would be today at that point in time. The pride that I feel in working for MSS and SIS, and the exposure I've had to great people, great cultures, has been once in a lifetime and very, very rewarding personally. I speak to SIS staff members all the time. I speak to my own team all the time, and that's at all levels of the organisation. The pride they feel doing what they do, working for SIS, representing SIS and MSS in Australia, and SDS, our other subsidiaries in Australia, is something that I take enormous personal pride from. It's very humbling, and something I'm delighted to be a part of, and it's been a great reward, a great challenge, but I'm very excited about what the future holds as well.
One of the best challenging moment for me, I joined the company as an internal auditor, but involved mainly in the financing activities, all the small projects. Still remember my first project, I worked with a chairman, Mr. R.K. Sinha, and where first working capital raised for the company in a school that is in the name of Indian Public School, which is the brainchild of Mr. Chairman, Mr. R.K. Sinha.